Good afternoon, people. Uh, I wasn't going to come on today at all. Like, you know how I usually do. I'll sit back and observe things and listen to the way things are going in the world. And then also listen to the way things are going on YouTube. First of all, I must say, and I'm going to comment like everybody else on the situation with Brianna Pettyville. Do I agree on her station being taken? No, I don't. Because that was her freedom of speech. Yeah, I didn't agree with a lot of things Brianna said or done, but I respected her right as a human being to come out there and to do the things that she did because it's our First Amendment rights. Our First Amendment rights is the freedom of speech. But when you lose freedom of speech, then what do you have? You have a society that's afraid to get out there and say things and do things, especially when it comes to news and everything else. So to all those that believe in striking people, taking their pages down, that's one of your First Amendment rights here. Now, there are recourses, and don't get me wrong, there are recourses when people feel they've been wronged and have been violated. They can take steps to tell a person, hey, you don't do this to me anymore. There are courts, there are laws, but you use it for the good. You don't use it for the bad. Brianna, I'm going to miss you for a minute, child. I hope you come back even after you graduate, come back with the same vigor. But the main thing I wanted to get people to see that you need to pay attention to your news out there because things are happening in this world, even as content creators, you're not going to be able to speak on pretty soon or say anything about, just like we are now. Yeah, YouTube has their rules, they have their regulations, but they also broadcast stuff that they say we're not supposed to broadcast or show us things that we're not supposed to show, or even play things that they say we're not supposed to play. I just want to let you guys know, watching the news today, I've seen where an American journalist, regardless, was arrested for what? Filming an ICE incident in a church. That's what they're saying. The federal government is going after journalism now. And if you can't see that, if you haven't seen it or looked at it, go pay attention to it. It's all over the news media. Instead of us sitting up here cussing and fighting and striking each other's panels as Black people, and we really don't make that much on YouTube. We don't make anything at all. I don't care who listens or not listens, because that's another thing. We can sit up here and people can go on and they can look and see if anybody's listening or not listening. But my voice is still being recorded. And those that do replays out, thank you. Thank you so very much. Because people will listen when they think, when they know. But when I say pay attention what's going on, you have to pay attention what's going on in the world when it comes to the policies of your freedom of speech, what you should do and you shouldn't do, how you do it and how you say it. Right now, we are divided on here. We're divided to the point to where you can see it. Men are hating women, women are hating men, but no one is united on a front when it comes to your freedom or who should be free and who should not be free. And that's the same way it goes here on YouTube. Who should speak and who should not speak. If a person's not speaking about what you hear, yeah, you have the right to click off. You have the right to go somewhere else. But when we go, do we go to where there's less drama or do we go to where there's more drama? YouTube here, especially, and I'm going to talk about the sector. I ain't going to, I'll claim it because they say I'm part of the beef sector. I'll claim it, but I'm not really what you call a beefer. I try to be humble about things that are going on. I try to let people know the things that people really should hear and see about. And like I'm saying, the arrest of Don Lemon last night in Los Angeles, that's where he was arrested at, has a precedent to show that nobody's going to be safe on here. Nobody's going to be safe to broadcast anything when this country has started arresting their own journalists. And we have seen other countries that arrested people, their journalists, and locked them up. Well, fortunately, Don has a lot of money. He can get out, and he has a good lawyer to plead his case. But it's just the idea that the government is going against the news media. Now, if we want to be part of the news media and report things, be mindful that, yeah, they listen to us. Even everybody listens to YouTube and the things that are said on YouTube. I also want to say that I'm going to follow this news story because right now everything is being tossed aside. Everybody's looking one way, or some people have blinders on. They should be looking all around. Put your head on a swivel. Watch your news. Pay attention to what goes on YouTube. See how people are treating one another, because this country is so divided right now. It's not funny. Now, at my age, I've seen a lot of history. I've seen a lot of division to get together. And I also seen the subtle ways that people are being used, not only on this apparatus, but even in the news media. Do I want to be a martyr? No, I never want to be a martyr. But it seems like those that do good, you forget about. Those that do bad, you worship them. I'm going to say this. For every man, woman, and child out there is an action and a reaction to the things that you do in life. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I've known it. And to the younger people on YouTube that are just now starting to get on here and do things, you don't disgrace a person just because you hate them. You don't say things just because to make yourself popular here on these apparatuses. People do it they say they do it for the coins. So what the hell about the coins? I don't care about coins. I never will, never have, never once thought about monetization here on YouTube, because it's too much work. And I never bought into the idea about the programming, because when they get tired of you, they can kick you off, no matter what anybody says or what anybody wants to read the rules to you about it. Good morning, Rum Shaker. Thank you for being up here and showing up in the chat. And I thank you, my dear. I listen to you, and I know that you're very outspoken and you tell people the things that you want to tell them. I just want to let people know that Don Lemon was arrested, y'all. He's a reporter. He is a real reporter. There's another journalist, independent. What they're doing right now, they're going after the independents journalists. There was another reporter from CNN, used to work at CNN, that be broadcasting stuff. They arrested her. We're so busy on here. Disgracing one another and trying to ruin one another because of what? These little thumbs up and these little likes and all this stuff. We're disgracing one another on here for Why? That's the big question. Why? If you don't like somebody, you don't bother with them. You don't like somebody, leave it alone. But I can understand why, because the devil has gotten into this world, and we're becoming so hateful. I'm just wondering, is this really the era of that man who's running this country and everybody that follows him? I'm just wondering. Thank you, room checker. I'm just, like I said, I as me old as I am, hell, I probably won't be here long enough to see the shit happen. But right now, I'm looking at the trend. I'm looking at a trend. People want to cut you off, want to talk crazy to you, talk about your relatives, talk about your kids and all that. For what? And like I said, for what? The mere pennies that you make here on YouTube? As a group of people, we all have people that we don't agree with and we don't like. But when you try to flush out when you try to silence them by striking, getting together in a group and striking people, you're gonna do what the government wants you to do. They're gonna want you to not care about freedom of speech anymore. They want you to care about how you do people. They don't want you to care about how you do people, just as long as you fall in line in their footsteps. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. When I call it out, I'm going to call it out. And what Brian did was wrong. And what this so-called man did to Brianna, to me, it's not a man. No man, never, ever. I don't give a damn how mad he is with that woman. Get on a social media app and talk about her, try to disgrace her because his little feelings is hurt. You know, my feelings were hurt years ago by a woman that I cared about, but I'm not going to get up here and disgrace her or try to disgrace her. If anything, I just have to forgive her and move on. But to watch people applaud this sucker is beyond me. And ladies, I want you to think about it. Would you want your man to act like that, or do you like that? Even though you didn't like Brianna, it doesn't make any difference. She's still a woman. Where's all this woman empowerment going? Where's all the things that women try to get together and do for one another? It's going out the window. It's going out the window. Same thing with the men. When you sit up here and you record people, you record the woman that you care about's conversations, then when she does something to you, you get mad, want to retaliate. It makes you less of a man. You're not really a man. You're I can't even call you what I want to call you because there's no words for it. You're despicable. You're disgraceful. And I don't care who likes it or not. I try to get on here and respect everybody, but there's some people you just have to let know that they're no damn good. And for the women that, I ain't going to say nuzzle them or allow them to do it, because that's your choice. But I am going to say, think about, what do you really want from a man? What do you really care about? How do you want him to talk to other women? Do you want it to be respectful, or do you want it to be disgraceful? You know, I watch certain content creators blow off at other people now because they got into the frail in the mix, and somebody mentioned their name, and you know, letting them know, hey, your page can get struck. Yeah, it can. Anybody's page, even mine, could get struck. But what does that accomplish? What does that do as a man? You call yourself a man, but You're letting a woman get you all out of your shape, out of your box. Real men don't do that. Hey, Vitamin Love with that smile turned upside down, dear. Thank you for dropping in and saying hello. I just want to know what men do that. Real men. And let's not, just because a man is heterosexual or even if he's gay, that doesn't give that man the right to degrade a woman. Now, men, we can sit up here and talk about each other all day long. But when you bring your woman into a situation, especially when you've broken up with her, it's not right. Now, that woman, we know, and I know as a man, women are going to talk about men regardless. If they were good to them, if they were bad to them, or indifference, and all that stuff. But real men aren't going to stoop as low as the devil wants us to stoop. I'm not stooping low to talk about my past relationships. I'm not stooping low to talk about how I feel I was treated. The only thing I tell people, it didn't work out and I've moved on and they've moved on. And I just want to say, once again, to all the women out there, if you like a man that degrades women, talk under their clothes and do crazy things, that's on you. Some people say it's a play. Some people say it's for the showmanship. But there's no showmanship in us disgracing ourselves as Black people. And that's the bottom line. But once again, people pay attention to what's going on in the news. Not only just on YouTube with the beef sector, the Mo3, all them sectors, but the real news where it counts at. Journalistic integrity is being questioned now. Your news reporters are getting arrested. Something that's never happened that I know of in this country outright, because they spoke upon the ICE situation. I just want to say, people get ready. People get ready. Not only is your mind's going to be questioned here, but people are going to question. People need to question themselves. But you don't ruin a person just because. You don't ruin them like that. You take away their voices, and what do you got? Silence. I heard you last night, Lady Nick, early this morning. I'm not going to judge you. I never have judged you. It's your right to do whatever you want. There is a time when we need to get up out of this craziness and go somewhere and do something. Just be mindful that you have bought a lot of people entertainment, be it good, bad, or indifference, even myself. But don't give up. You follow your dream. I heard you mention a bucket list. Bucket lists are made for those people that want to do things before they kick the bucket. Hell, I got a lot of things I want to do, but I'm not thinking about kicking the bucket. So you continue to live, be yourself, tell your stories. And when you get angry, it's all right to lash out. But don't let it get to you. Don't let it hurt your heart. Don't let it hurt your mind. And to all people out there like that, don't let it hurt your heart. Don't let it hurt your mind. Don't be ashamed to show people that you can go outside. You can enjoy the weather. Then you can come on here and have fun. You can laugh. There's some people on here that have made me laugh within the last week and a half, but there's also things on here that has killed my, thoughts about man's inhumanity to man. It's getting dirty. It's getting dark on here. It's getting to where you don't really want to be on here at all. And I know how some of these people feel, not just only the women, but men too. I'm a man. I don't want to be on here cussing a woman out every day because she said something about me. And I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be on here spilling a secret about what me and some woman did in the past because that's not manly like. It's not being a man. And I'm not going to get on here and try to argue back and forth with anybody about the things that I know are right. And one thing that I know that is right, that we should all care for one another to a certain degree. We can't love everybody. We can't sit around and be happy with everybody. There's going to be times when people say things and ooh, bam. Discussions about religion, politics, and all that can have a nasty turn. But just be cognizant that we all have brains. We all have opinions. We all can form an opinion within our own mind. The problem is when you let a person lead you down a path that's going to lead you to a path of destruction, to where you get to the point to where you don't care about what nobody say or does on here, and you're agreeing with the things that they say that they're going to do, like taking people's pages, striking them, you know. But that's a form of warfare. I know during wars they had what they call the Freedom Channel. Right now it's war on here. Everybody's assigned to everybody. Everybody knows everybody. And you can go back and look at people's pages and stuff. You know, I don't pick sides anymore. I'm just going to say everything is topsy-turvy, and I've seen it before. And it's going to happen even worse this time because of social media. You're going to do things to one another that'll have people going to court. You're going to say things, put out information that you really shouldn't be putting out there, and it's going to have you in court because people are getting tired. They're tired of all the foolery. Now, when you go online and you dress up as a person and you mock them, that's one thing. But when you dig up old information, and even people that are dead dig up their information and post up here, that's not right, folks. That's not right. Now, as a human race, we should know better. But like I said, maybe it is for the love of money. Maybe it is for prestige. But none of us is going to end up in Hollywood. I never thought that I would be on here talking about the things that I have spoken about. But yet I do have fun with life. There are things going on in life that I'll never let anybody know about now, because I don't want people to mess with me, because I'm not messing with you. I give you your props, I move on, and I listen. Like I said, your First Amendment rights slowly are being taken away. And when you start taking away other people's First Amendment rights, don't think they won't come after you. This false flagging, this flagging because you don't like somebody or you don't like the way they do. Hell, there's a lot of people I don't like, but I'll never flag. I'll never get on this apparatus and try to tear another black person down like that. They're making their money on YouTube. Hey, I'm glad for them. And just because I'm not monetized, I don't want to be monetized. That's another thing. Just because somebody's on here begging doesn't make them a bad person. We need to think before we act. They say think before you speak. No, we have to think before we act now, because we're acting out of anger. We're acting out of jealousy. We're acting out of hatred just because. To all those that are still freezing, I want to say God bless you, and may God keep you in his arms. It's cold out there. The world is cold. This country's cold, and now YouTube has gotten cold. People don't care anymore. Why? Because they think they don't have nothing to lose. Yes, you do have something to lose. You got your freedom. You got your freedom. And once you lose that, there's nothing left. And it doesn't have to be locked up either. You don't have to be locked up. You can lose your freedom right here on this apparatus. You know, they have ways of watching. Why do you think the ad is coming in front of everybody's name now? Why do you think it's so easy to get information? Because they want to pit you against each other about that. That's all. That's all. Once again, I want to say to the guys out there, anytime you have a woman and you so-called cared about her, even though it didn't go right, don't disgrace her. Don't do that. Women are vindictive. Yeah, they're more vindictive than men. But now we're beginning to act like the feminine side comes out in men. And men, you don't need to be that. You're not that way. But like I said, some men can't help themselves because they weren't raised right. And when I mean raised right, they weren't taught to respect, to give a woman respect, especially after the early 60s, 70s, 80s. Things went downhill real fast when it came to respect. Hello, Jackson. I see you. Yeah, I'm mad now. I'm rambling off because they arrested Don Lemon last night too. That's another thing. I'm trying to get people to realize that journalistic, real journalists are being arrested just because his First Amendment rights. You know, we have the right to say that, hey, baby, I see you sneaking. What are you doing anyway? What are you doing? You're with the grandson? See, I follow that too. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thanks everybody for coming in and share too. That I thank you. Yeah, baby. And I want to say to everybody out there, I'll speak when I feel like speaking. I'm gonna come up here and let you know that I don't like what we're doing to one another here. It used to be fun, like Lady Nika said. It used to be fun. Yeah. But now we gotta look at a bit of bigger picture. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I know. We gotta look at the big picture. Do we forget about how we used to have fun, or are we gonna continue down this path of self-destruction? And believe me, that old song cliche, you're headed for self-destruction. We are on these YouTube streets. Running up and yeah, it's free. It's free, but freedom is going to cost us pretty soon. It's going to cost us. I don't know where to go and what to say, except I'm gonna go back on YouTube. I'm gonna watch the news here and hopefully, like I said, follow things that really interest me. Right now, I'm not interested in listening to people call one another B's and H's, especially on these men's platforms. Uh, I'm not interested in anybody trying to pit anybody against each other just because they're of a different ethnicity or their sexuality doesn't confide with them being a homosexual or a heterosexual. I'm definitely not going to get into argument of religion because I've told my story before and a lot of people have forgotten it. But my dad was Catholic and my mama was Baptist. They let their children decide what they wanted to be. Myself, I chose to be a Baptist. But as I gotten older, I got away from it. and I started thinking on my own. And I do know that there's a God that's protected me for these 75 years of my life. And I give that man his respect every day. I'm not going to I'm not going to say that God isn't real. Oh, you're a mess. You shared me. Okay. Okay. Thank you, baby. And that's another thing, people. I do share people on my platform, on my channel. The ones that I know that have something to say and something good. And sometimes to make me feel happy. Like I said, there's a list of people that I enjoy. Barry Carey, really. Hell, I even enjoy Jay Dunn. And that's the opposite. Right there's two opposites. But at sometimes they could be funny. Sometimes they could it depends. It depends on our mood. And and I have to thank uh I'm going to have to really have to thank Room Shaker, because Room Shaker, you turned me on to a young lady that, even though I'm trying to find her now because I write it down and then I have I have to give you thanks for sending me over to their page. Blended Healings. That's who it was. I went over there and watched Blended Healings. And let me tell you, fellas, it doesn't hurt to watch people and women that has a mind that's peaceful, that's calm. There's no cussing and fussing all the time. And she also sells good products for women. That's her way of advertisement. So, Room Shaker, if you're still here, thank you. Thank you for sending me over to Blended Healings. And I am subscribed to her, just like I am to you. And I know that's two opposites of the fence right there. And Jackson, I'm always going to be subscribed to you. You tickle me with your flying monkeys, like some people were saying, flying monkeys. Well, Wizard of Oz, I'm going to go off to see the wizard right now myself. With that being said, folks, let me remind you, real journalistic integrity is being questioned now when it comes to the government. Let's not kill our dreams of being able to sit up and speak your mind. You don't have to disgrace anybody when you speak your mind either. You don't have to cuss them out, use all the B's and the N's and the MFs and all that stuff. You don't have to do that. But people are getting tired of it. People are getting tired. And that's the silent majority. That's another thing. We have a silent majority here on YouTube. And when they get tired, they can flag you, but it doesn't have to be anybody from your sector. It, it doesn't have to be anybody that's subscribed to your channel either. It could just be those that don't want to hear you anymore, or they just don't care for it anymore. I'm going to get off here and I'm going to go outside for a second or two because we got a nice day right now. Right now it's 20 degrees. And to me, that's a heat wave compared to where it's been 9, 8, 7 degrees. That's a heat wave. I'm going to go get outside and try to get a little snow off the ground and check my mail. With that being said, I'm going to see you guys on YouTube. And I love you as Jesus loves us. And stay warm out there, people. This weekend, we got another cold, frosty weekend. Hell, even down in Florida. Florida's going to be cold. Pizza, you better stay warm. Okay? Stay warm, pizza. Everybody in Florida, stay warm. North Carolina, Dobie, up in New York, Just Krista. You guys stay warm out there on the East Coast. It's brutal. The weather's brutal, like YouTube right now. With that being said, God bless. Take care. See you later on these streets, guys. Yep, I'm going to enjoy my day, even though it's cold. You enjoy your day too, sweetheart. Bye-bye, guys.